All right, here we go. So today, a very special edition, and it's mostly a special edition because it doesn't get a full number, because I'm going to do the 50th Code Hangout on Sunday. But there have been quite a few requests for a killer calculator, and it's drawn with the highlight digits and corner center marks, which is quite an involved feature, which I'll get to. But this is an interesting one because it's very self-contained, so it's something I can do in a special edition stream. And I'm going to use one of Artisanal Sudoku's, one of James Sinclair's puzzles, which was the first one in Artisanal Sudoku's edition 1, which you can check out at artisanalsudoku.substack.com. And they're very beautiful, they're very nice, they're hitting the sweet spot for difficulty. Not too difficult, not too easy. Well, they're fairly easy, let's put it that way, but that's fun sometimes. And they're always very pretty. And I have killer cages. So, what I'm going to use for a guide functionality is the Goya Cracking the Cryptic killer puzzle app, because, you know, that's what you guys are familiar with. And I'm not too familiar with these tools. I'm sure there's online tools that do all sorts of crazy things. So, I'm going to start there, and I'm going to get started with a icon, and I think I'm going to go with this basic calculator here, even though it's not a standard Material UI icon, which I try to stick to, but I found this one and I think it's pretty decent. It's got the rounded corner style. So let's have a look at it. Okay, it's fairly big, it's fairly messy. So we can probably clean all of this up. So this obviously came out of some sort of app that doesn't create very clean. Yeah, Adobe Illustrator always creates a bunch of messy code. It's 460 by 460. We're going to scale that down to 24 by 24. All right, let's just run it through the Svg Minifier tool that I use, which is basically SVGO, which somebody made a UI for it. Basically, I mean SVGO you can use on the command line, all that stuff. It should be able to get rid of a lot of these. If all else fails, we might failed input. Probably don't need that. Let's refresh. Excuse me. What does it not like here? Unexpected close tag. Ah, because we got rid of all the G's. All right. Here we go. Show original. 1.4K. It seems a little big. Can we reduce the precision? 1 decimal. Probably don't need decimal. Oh, yeah, now here these get a bit wonky. Sometimes I wonder if it would be better to scale them up and then get rid of all the extra details. Alright, we have an XML namespace. 1K is a bit big. I tend to get down to like less than 500 bytes usually. No. None of that actually reduced the size. Well, let's have a look what it looks like. It's not too bad. It's a little bigger than what I like. I like to keep them down to like 4 or 5 lines. And since they're mostly rounded rectangles, I'm tempted to just build my own here. The alternative would be to use Unicode characters, but they could have their own problems, obviously. Since, well, you never know if the font that you're using is available on the operating system, yada, yada, yada. Let's have a quick look if we can find something else. I think I had a... No, let's see, Abacus is... calculator icon SVG. I just want something that's, you know, around 500 bytes max. And roughly this sort of layout, you know, square, rounded corner buttons, that kind of thing. Could be slightly simplified like this one. Or this one, or even this one. Not sure if I like it with the symbols, to be honest. Let's see if we can just pull it from here quickly. If not, I might just recreate. I mean, Does this come down as an SVG? Who knows? Seriously, a folder? Alright, 60 kilobytes. Holy macaroni. Oh my god. It's gonna make me uncompress it first. Well, let's see what this guy can do with this. Well, it gets smaller. It goes down to 930 something bytes, which isn't too bad actually. Can we crank down the corners go a little bit wonky then? What's the base size? 250 by 250. That's probably why. 932. If I get it down to 0, 598. But then the corners go all a bit. Meh. I wish they would support scaling. Wow, and it makes such a difference. Just those points. We only need 1 point of precision. All right, let's see. Let's build our own. Screw it. It's a special edition stream. Might as well build our own. One of these days I'll learn how to use a vector drawing tool. All right, to build our own, we'll start with a simple file or an empty page. Yeah, something like this. Or actually maybe something like this. And I'm gonna use our existing buttons that I also hand built as our template. And I'm just gonna clone elements over. So, I'll do this. Got like an icon there. Right? And this is the icon. And we're gonna replace it with something like our tool corner, I believe. I'm gonna put my phone over here. I don't actually need it right now. So we have our rounded rectangle here. Do we have other... What other tools do we have? Replay tool. None of these are actually super helpful. But I think the corner tool might do the trick. Do we have... We have a bunch of tools in SudokuPad, which I don't even know if I have it open anymore here. Ooh, what? Yeah, that's not relevant anymore. Okay, I gotta go through these tools, through these tabs sometime and see which ones I still need or don't need anymore. All right, the copy tool, copy. It's probably a UI tool in the mobile app. All right, let's take this one. Go back to our here. You know, edit as HTML. Nope. Did I not copy this? Control C. Control V. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. We wanna delete. Edit. Delete all. Nope. It doesn't let us delete this content. That's strange. That's so strange. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, so this one is smaller now. So the question now is, all right, we don't need the letters in here. We're gonna get rid of the letters. Right. I'm just gonna see if we can copy this whole thing. You know what? It'll be easier to actually work on this as a file. Trying to remember. I did these manually, didn't I? These rounded corners. They're actually not that small. Maybe I'm underestimating how big these get. Let's see how big this one is. So that's 930, 1,400. All right, you know what? This is 1,400. Screw that. I think we can go with the calculator icon that we already started with. Not that one. I think it was... Oh, no. Was it this one? Nope. Was it this one? Yeah, let's try this one again. Well, let's run it through our optimizer. And it's 776 bytes. Let's see what that comes to. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. It's not that bad. And let's see what this looks like in our bare thingamajig here. So if I do edit as HTML, delete this, put that in here. All right, and if we do width 24, height equals 24. Oh. Okay. Nope. All right. It's missing the spacing, but that's fine. And then if we do fill current color, I think we're pretty close to it. Now, before we get started, I want to actually do this in a sub-branch because it could balloon. It could be a bigger feature than I expected, in which case then I want to have the opportunity to kind of continue later. All right, so git, check out new branch. And we're currently on what version? 0.16.25. All right. Feature 0.1625 plus killer calculator. Killer calculator. Killer calculator. Killer dash calculator. All right. Excuse me. I should really mute the mic, shouldn't I? And I think our first sort of first approach will be to just have a pop-up and with showing information. But ultimately, I'd like to be able to sort of have stuff on screen that I'm moving around and all that. All right, so let's get rid of all of these. Nope. And let's try to set it up as a separate tool file, just like we did with two letters and so on and so forth, right? So we're going to create a new file. We're going to save it as, are we in the right place? Yes. Tool, calculator. All right. Nope, that's not it. And we'll do this here. And similar to two letter, now I'm going to get rid of all of these, because I am already drowning in tabs as it is. All right. And, oh, did I not open my own live stream? All right, let me do that just to make sure everything is how it should be. All right, so, and I think it's the letter tool. It was the pen tool? No, it was the editor tool where we had an asset at the top. All right, we're just gonna call it const tool calculator icon equals this. All right. And I'd like to actually align the tool template sort of thing more with how the code is in. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. This is as annoying to me as it is to you, trust me. Maybe more so. I'm gonna align it to how I did the code in the editor. I think I have a second. I need to have a second repo that I can have on a different branch, so I can pull up files and all that stuff. Editor, because viewing the files in GitHub isn't always very good. You know, you don't have code completion let's go to scripts, because it looks like source and should really be under source. Once I move the folder, everything to AWS, and I don't need this stupid Firebase structure anymore, maybe I can fix it, the folder structure a bit. All right. Tool editor. And all I want to do, I want to look is how I set up the structure here. So we have assets, and then at the top, at the bottom, or near the bottom, because I have all the deprecated code, which I really need to remove now. We have puzzle component here. We have the puzzle editor eventually. And then down here, we have the actual setup of the tool itself. All right, it'll look like this, like this, like this. Calculator. All right, and we'll tool calculator. Killer calculator, right? And the killer calculator will have our usual structure like this. Our constructor, we have our stuff, our prototype stuff, and all of this stuff here. And this will be killer calculator there. This will be just where did I do this quickly recently? Was it on the letter tool? Yes. Because we don't have the inheritance stuff here. Go back to the sort of old-fashioned way of doing it. Like that. And, you know, we're buying the handlers, that's fine. Killer calculator, tool calculator, yada, yada, yada. And we'll probably need a style for it, so we'll just create that right away. No, not here. Nope. And this will be tool calculator .css. All right. So now we have to include these files in the app. So we have the letter tool here. Why is the tool replay, tool select? Select tool should really be higher up. Yeah. We'll do that another time. All right, calculator. And in the future, I'd like to have these tools be loadable at runtime as well. Not just at build time. Excuse me. All right. So let's go in here, refresh this thing. And I think the tool isn't actually getting added yet. So tool calculator. I keep wanting to just call it calc to make it shorter, but I'm not sure if this will killer calculator show killer calculator, make tool toggler, tool calculator. All right, so if I go here now, go in here, let's keep things simple. There should be now show killer calculator. And we now have this here. Now, this icon will not live here. It'll live maybe up here or somewhere separately. But for now, click, 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 we have this. That actually works. I mean, the calculator probably should be a bit smaller. It should be closer to the size of these guys. I can probably do that by just doing something like this. and then making this 540. No, minus 40, 540, 540, just by changing the view box, right? Yeah, something like that. All right. So now we want to look at the letter tool and compare how things are getting set up. I think we need to sort this stuff out. Been a while since I've created a brand new tool. And here, new killer calculator. And currently, it doesn't actually react to being set up. World modes, multi-toggle, yeah, that's fine. So I think we probably just want to have some basic functionality like init, done, and all that stuff. So for now, it's just going to be info. A lot of these are not going to stick around for very long. Dot init. And done, and the enter tool one as well. So we'll probably init, done. I probably want to standardize on an order on these because otherwise my brain is just always going to try to come up with an order, and I think about it each time. If I standardize it, I don't have to do as much thinking. Okay, so I can't select the tool yet. I'm trying to remember what causes that. I think it needs to be... Oh, wait a second. Maybe it's the name. Nope. I think it needs to have a particular setting that tells it that it's a tool. So it might have to be this, and I might have to put these... Killer calculator. And I might have to put these up here. Now, obviously I don't actually want to toggle to it like that. Letter, no. Finally, so I don't want to toggle to it and use that here. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think ultimately it needs to be a dialog that you can drag around your screen. But for now, I'm just going to use, excuse me, I'm just going to use it as a sort of separate pop-up thing. So I'm currently thinking how easy it is to squish it up here. I think those buttons are generated via, let's see, controls, tools, normal corner, remove control, remove button, remove, add tool, controls, apps. I think it's these guys. So how are these being handled? So they're added using add aux button. Okay. Select. Ah, wait, that's down these guys, the auxiliary buttons. Could I use those? Where do they fit in a vertical layout? Ah, no. They fit only 4 of fitting here. These, we might be able to fit another one. I mean, there's something to be said to actually have it here. I don't know how often... I think you probably want to look at the calculator while you're putting in numbers. But we could also literally have that button just show the calculator, right? And in fact, ultimately, the calculator just might be living as a floating button somewhere else on the screen. Let's experiment with that. So if I don't set it to isTool, and if I don't add creates a button. If I don't create a button here, make tool toggler. Actually, let's see, because this, I think this on the low level, all it really does is add the button, right? So this is specifically for adding and removing tools, which we don't actually need here. I'm trying to think, do we actually need tools here? Do we need to capture special mouse inputs? Not really, it's its own UI, right? So we might not actually need to do any of this stuff. So add tool button, don't need any of this stuff. We do want a setting, and currently that setting toggles these two. How about handle setting toggle? Let's have a look if we can capture this. Like that. Right. And then instead of this, we're just going to do what if we just see the calculator? And then we'll just say on toggle dot handle setting toggle. Would that work? New killer calculator, handle setting toggle true. If I switch this to off, false. If it goes to false. Okay. So that could be all we need. And then we don't need to do this whole malarkey with the tool itself. So in the mobile app, it brings up a window. So it has like a little. It has two things. So it has the calculator, it has this sort of thing, and it just hovers it near the top of the screen. So I'm thinking, like, can I just have an icon in the corner? The problem is, under certain circumstances, it might overlap. Could I put it in the top bar? Possibly. We potentially have enough space there. It could live in here as well. Let's see, how hard would it be to stick something up here? So we have the top links here. Let's assume we have enough space. Top bar, clock. Because if I hide the clock, hide timer, this thing still exists. It just doesn't have a lot of space. Let's see if we can just add a button to the top bar. Or at least the icon, right? So, document, query, selector, dot app, dot top bar. And we're doing something a bit different here. Let's. All right. And this is a little bit of an experiment, and we haven't done something like this before with this sort of plugin architecture. And selector game clock. All right. Top bar. Game clock. That should have a dot here, I believe. Game clock. All right, and then let lm equals create framework So we want to create an element. For now, it's going to be a button. And then inner HTML, we're just going to put the icon in there. Okay. I'm just going to put the element here. And then we're just going to do top bar lm dot insert before. Engine insert before, I think that's what we want. And the reference node is the second one, right? So insert before lm game clock. Something like that. And if we do that, everything blows up. So I misspelled something somewhere. Here. There we go. And we get this monstrosity. Oh. Something is wrong. Oh. Okay. All right. Let's show the clock again. And let's have a quick poke around how these things are formatted. I don't really like it up there. I'm tempted to put it here, but in the vertical layout, it's gonna be a bit odd. It's not gonna fit, basically. And I don't know if I want to shrink these further. But this is it's a little awkward. And the alternative would be to have it hover over the board, but we don't actually have a space there. And I've just reduced that space. I don't want to bring it back. Now, the truth is, on a phone, there's potentially space there, except when there isn't, right? And in my case, there isn't, the way I use my phone. And I think the controls on the StudiGoya app are shorter down here because the buttons are arranged horizontally. And they don't have as many of these extra features. Let me see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 action buttons. And I have 8 plus 8, that's plus the delete, that's part of there. And then they have just the 9 buttons in one row. And their number buttons are actually quite a bit smaller. I mean, it is an option to reduce the size of these to be similar to these. And I think that's maybe something we want to do. And if anything, maybe make these smaller and increase their padding relative to these. But is this something I want to do for this mini update? Probably not. So let's have a quick look how hard it would be to push those into the... So under redo, these are the auxiliary buttons. But we also have these buttons. So we have add app buttons. And let's see if we can use that facility. So we have the setting. And an app button here. Something like this. If we do this, right? And we call this calculator. Killer calculator. And the icon is this. And we're gonna give it a label like that. On click. Handle tool, enter handle. Handle activate. Or handle tool toggle. So we can do a handle tool toggle here. And this would be handle tool toggle on the calculator. And what does that look like? Why does it get it added to the top? Is that... Why is this added to the top? Is it happening before this? Wait a second. And this is controls-app.js. I'm guessing this is getting called inside start. So, yeah, whatever. I misspelled it. Controls. Get your act together. Jeez. All right. So then this gets initialized. Then this. Then this. So if we're doing it in handle setting toggle to true, and then do that there, it actually makes a lot more sense. So instead of doing this, and maybe for the other tools, that might be the way to go as well. That when the settings toggle to true, that's when the item gets added. Because this tool toggler gets executed earlier. Ah, no, that's exactly what it does here. All right. Ah, yeah, in fact, that's exactly how it works, right? This tool toggler, yeah. All right. So, if, and this is setting on, right? Then we can say if setting on, do this. Now the removal, if we look at controls tools, the removal, we have a remove control button. Now I don't actually know if we have a remove app button. We might have to add that. Nope. So we have a remove control button, add control, has control, remove. And the remove control button kind of just does this. Add app button does this. So we probably want to do a remove app button function here. Yeah, we're improving the API as well. So, yay. Of course, these are all super similar. So we might want to homogenize these in the future. Just different button styles. And I'm just gonna do this for now because I don't actually know if that's how it's gonna work in the end. If setting is on, we'll do this, except we're gonna align it with, so we have a name, we have a title, we have content, we have an on click. Okay, that's actually pretty generic. We're missing this guy. And then we have this guy. And then we'll do it by name, right? So remove app button calculator. And later on I might have to rename it to killer calculator. I don't know if there'll be other calculators that I'm gonna turn the brightness of my phone down because it looks like it's just gonna be held on by the Goya app. And well, I have it as a reference, but I already have enough burn-in. Okay. So we have this one now. We're still doing this. If we don't do this, what happens? Aha. And if I disable it now, off, it executes remove, but the remove hasn't been implemented yet. So name. Okay, so this is really all just so we can pass in the object itself. And now we're looking not at controls. We're looking at, what is this area called? Controls. ID controls. So we have controls app, controls main, controls aux. Oh, my nose is itching. All right. It actually matches all of them. Now that could actually be a problem because you might have the same sort of name used in different contexts. Oh, my nose is itching so bad. I blame the dog. Blame the dog. Even though he doesn't deserve it. No, I don't blame the dog. I can't blame the dog. Dog's the best. Alright. I think that's probably all we need to do. So if we do... Can we get a smaller... Yeah. So if I do calculator, boom, 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 boom. Now, it would be nice if we have an icon in here. That's something we haven't done before either. But if we're going to go icon-based, might as well put the icon in the settings, right? Right? So what if this thing here... now, I don't know if this content thing... First of all, I don't know if it's accepts HTML, right? So let's test that. And nope. All right. Does it accept standard event properties? Nope. So this is kind of non-standard use of this stuff. You know what? I just realized if this is the same code, can we just remove a control button here? I guess we could. We can. And I think that was the intention back then. I just didn't. I never went around to renaming the API. Yeah. So we don't actually need a custom API here. So this should just work now. Yeah. So let's have a look. Add setting. In its settings. Show setting. Add settings. Items for each. Add settings. Settings. Ops.push. Yada yada yada. Show settings. Show handle settings. Ops. Ops.content. Ops.content. No. Object assigned. Handler. Ops.name. Ops.content. Title. Ops.content. No. Ops. Inner HTML. Option. Inner HTML. Content. Content. Wait. Inner HTML. Inner HTML. So if I make content here, content, if I make inner HTML here, inner HTML, and add setting, content, content setting, show dialog, setting opts. We need to kind of take a closer look at these. So, 2 letters, tools, learn, toggle calculator content in HTML. Settings, ops, maps, assign. If I... Man, what the heck am I doing here? If I pull that out, what do I get? Case, large, rip, alt letter, enable letter, calculator. Where's the calculator? Title, content. Tools, handler, true, value, alt letter, multi, large digits. It's this one. So the title gets overridden with content. Why? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense at all. We have a title. We don't have a title. How do we not have a title? Title, alt letter, enabled letter tool. So on the letter tool, where do we get the title from? Group, name, title. Name, title, enable letter tool. So that gets used as title. Group content, enable letter tool, handle on title, enable letter tool. So it sets the title to content. Okay. Content toggle, inner HTML, inner HTML. So there is an inner HTML. Inner HTML toggle content title. All right, and then show dialog. Show dialog. Options. Yada yada yada. Create element parent dialog options options. Ops.parts. Okay. What do these parts contain? So, what do these parts contain? How are they transformed? Content toggle group inner HTML. So we still have inner HTML at this point. So we should be getting inner HTML into create element. What if I remove the content here? Where do we end up? Because obviously inner HTML does not get used correctly. So inner HTML, yada yada yada, handler, group, tool, event, tag, toggle. So we have an inner HTML here. And these parts get all fed into create element. And the type here is inner HTML handler on toggle tag, toggle. So toggle. Text content, label text. Ops.text content. Ops.text content. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Object, checkbox. Name parent options. Label element. Ops.title. Or. Okay, so it does not allow. It does not allow. So if we wanted to do a iconographic setting, we either have to update the toggle to accept icons. And I have a vague memory of somewhere explicitly supporting icons. But I guess I'm wrong. So either I have an explicit support for icon, or I update this to also look at inner HTML, right? So let's see. Let's have another look how easy that would be. So we're gonna look at text content. At where's extra come from? Extra. And it's the title. And, well, just ops in general. So it's going to be super spammy, unfortunately. So we're going to have to actually dig for it a bit. Toggle show replay tool. Okay. Large digits, so better tool. So value true, text content undefined. So what we got in options and extra? So extra has these, and then options has these. So in options we have inner HTML. And then at the end, we're going to use ops.title, which is undefined. And we're going to use text content, which is label text. Label text is here. Okay. So it would be fairly trivial. Multicolor mode. We should really change that to multicolor tool. Okay, tool calculator. Extra text content undefined. Enable letter tool. Label text undefined. And the inner HTML is here. If text content label text. Now, if both are passed in and one is undefined, the other one isn't, which will one override the other? So what if we do something like this? Let lm opts, or let toggle opts, right? Oh, and it's not even, that's not even toggle label opts. It's not even, it's not even the toggle itself, right? We do something like this. All right, so this, you know, we're gonna do the label text ops.text content, ops.text content. I don't know if is there a reason we're pulling this out of there. I'm just questioning why this is being deleted there, because because it's getting merged together into the parent. Does that mean the toggle itself gets inner HTML? Yes, it does. Okay. Right. Okay, I see. Label text. So, label inner HTML. So then we want to delete that here. Because it's getting transferred, and yeah, it's actually splitting up and turning it into two. Okay. So that kind of makes more sense now. So now we can do if label text defined, then dot, and then we'll kind of do this. And now we'll do the same thing with label inner HTML. And then we don't need to do this. Minimize this again. And now we get an HTML here. Now the question is, can we make this more exciting? Whoops. Yes, maybe. Now, can we pass in content as well to get the title? Yes. Okay, so content still has a use, which is nice. Let's see how much we're changing here in the diff. I'd like to keep these changes rather minimal if I can manage. So, by the way, welcome to the stream. In case you're just catching up now, today I'm going to have a look at adding a killer calculator to the app as separate a module as possible, maybe along the way improving some of the APIs and framework, etc. It's a crafty piece of code that could use some streamlining and improvements. And obviously I haven't touched it in a long while, so diving in there a bit is also a good exercise. Okay, clean those up. They're no longer, this was just to figure out the timing of when things get called. All right, so Now the question is, can I squeeze the icon in there? So what if I did this? What if we did that? Oh, wrong type of string. Aha! Unfortunately, this is not managed as an inline icon correctly. Although we could easily add styling for that as well. This almost works. Huh. I mean, it's not perfect. And if we want to do both, not too crazy, not too terrible. And if I do a span like this, instead of a div, yeah, it doesn't improve it very much. So I think, why is it so offset? Does this only work if it's a div? The icon class? It doesn't look like it. What's the styles we want to do? Vertical, align, middle? Is that all we want? Is that all we need? I'm also concerned about this immense spacing because the icon is a bit large. Height 1 rem? No? Height 1 rem? 1.2 rem? Setting item. So if we add styling for the setting items here, setting or settings? Setting item. Setting item. I did not find it before. Lately, I sometimes feel like my searches aren't working. I don't know why. Oh, some pain. So what if I do label, input, setting, toggle, checked, label, yada, yada, yada. That's the on-off. Label, setting, toggle. So this is an icon inside the label. So what if I do setting item, label, dot icon, SVG, height 1.2 rem, and vertical align center. Vertical. Here we go. And not too bad. With a strange offset here. Why is this not 24 by 24? So it's probably the height and the width mismatching. So if I do this, will I get a square icon? Or a square space for the icon to occupy? Maybe. Sort of. I mean, the calculator itself isn't quite square. Let me just check something about... So this one is currently not vertically aligned. Nope. Vertical align. Ah. Now if I disable it from here. Ah, middle. Now if I... Which one of those can I get rid of? Okay, this one looks... The funny thing is this looks more lined, but it seems to take up more space or add more bottom padding somehow. And if I have this one and not this one, I think that's the best. So if I move this to the SVG, now it's... Ah, middle. That's why. Middle and center. I wonder if they've ever discussed if that makes sense, mixing those two. So visually, it's top aligned, but space-wise, it looks like it's center aligned. But now the icon itself, the span feels bigger. Height 1.2 rem. Okay. Vertical align. Baseline. Vertical align. If I use baseline and get rid of this one. Huh. Middle. I think that looks the most middle, but it still looks like there's too much spacing around it. There's like spacing underneath somehow. Why is this? The span is larger. So this is 22.4. This is 23.2, and this is 19.2. This is so odd. This SVG, does this have... you can... Front weight line height... No. This one... I still don't understand why the size of this span is bigger than what's around it. What if I make these smaller? What if I make these EMs? So 1 EM. 1 EM. So not relative, but local scaling. Shouldn't that now make it match? It makes it smaller for some reason. I don't get it. How does it make it smaller? And this is still bigger than that. Alright, what if I make these 5px by 5px? So now the SVG is tiny. This is still... The span, for some reason, is still huge. Does it have any other reason to be huge? If I get rid of the class, is it now still huge? 23.2. Get rid of this. How big is the span now? It's still 23.2. Why? Oh, because of these? Ah. Alright. So, the font size apparently matters. Font size, EM. And now, how big is... So the label is 20.52. The span is still bigger. The font size is 1 EM. And if I make it 1 rem, it goes there. And then this, for some reason, should be bigger, but it's smaller. Or it's 92 by 19.2 by 19.2. And it's vertical line middle. If I make this baseline. Middle. Because like, the moment I put it in the middle, it goes under. And I've seen this before, and then I actually did a manual offset here. Hey, David. Hey, well, trust me, my brain is short-circuiting as well. Right now, I'm still just trying to get this icon this tiny little icon there to not create extra space under the text. So we're some ways away from accomplishing our goals. What if I do top minus 0.125 rem? That's worked in the past. Position relative. The problem is, it puts it in the right position, but it doesn't eliminate this extra spacing. Which is hilarious, because there shouldn't be any extra space. But you know what? It looks good. It's fine. I'm just going to put that in there. So we're just going to do top minus 0.125 rem. Position relative. And what I'm doing here is silly. This needs to be a little bit spread out. Width and height can go in a line, that's fine. And the position should really be on the top. And this should be like that. And now this should be decent enough. All right, so now we have an icon here and we can press that. All right, enough messing about with just making it look decent. So now when we're pressing this, what do we want to happen? That's the next question. So I think the framework update here is good. So my first instinct is, I like that it has that. So I'm looking at the mobile app right now, the StudiGoya one. So right now, for example, I'm picking a cage. Here. Oh, come on. Okay. My camera stuff doesn't like it. It says some 16, 8 out of 8 combinations, right? So obviously we want interaction with the cages, and we want ideally some sort of live display on screen. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I can integrate the calculator with this space. On a phone, the problem is it would only make sense in the horizontal view. On a vertical view, on a phone, that area doesn't exist, right? But maybe we can add something somewhere else. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We still have the top bar, maybe. We'll see. Or we will squeeze in some extra space if the calculator is enabled. Maybe down this line becomes the calculator info box, or a thin line here, just text, something like that. All right. Now the first step is, so this one, no, where's the calculator? Here. So right now, when I'm clicking this button, we have the handle tool toggle, right? So we have the handle setting toggle. Then we have the handle tool toggle. All right. Then we can just do this for now. Can we? Does that make sense? Yeah. Get rid of that. Right. Get rid of that. All right. Shall we give it the full name, just so it doesn't interfere with some other, because this is actually global, which isn't great. So we have the settings toggle. So we hit the settings toggle here. Okay. Then we have the tool toggle. Calculator is not defined. Handle tool toggle. This. So handle tool toggle. And now the icon, we can actually put it in here. So we can do c.icon equals this. And we can probably just do that. Have it all nicely self-contained. So now this becomes color calculator.icon. We can use that here as well. Let's do it this way. Okay, so we still have the icon here. Then we can enable it here. And now we're hitting... No, I have nothing to do with StudiGoya. I've never actually encountered them anywhere either. No, no worries. I mean, they are, you know... to be honest, I was hoping that in the future, Simon and Mark would choose to use my app for future applications, but apparently they have chosen against it, so it behooves me to at least offer a service as good as the SudokuPad app. So I'm obviously trying to match their features. And this is something that, you know, you're not the first one to ask for it. Quite a few people have. In fact, it got quite a few votes on my feature tracker. So, and it's actually a good feature to build for me because it's relatively disjoint from the rest of the app. So hopefully I can build it without affecting the existing code too much. And it'll let me build some better APIs. I mean, we do need to figure out what killer cages there are and what's selected and all that stuff. In fact, I wonder if in SudokuPad, if I select many rows, it says no cage selected. Okay, so it basically says if more than one cage, or if cells that aren't only belonging to one cage are selected, then it says no cage selected. Okay, that's fair. So we have handle tool toggle now. So I'm gonna do something very silly here. I'm just gonna do a quick show dialog. Title equals killer calculator. Now ultimately we can't just use this, but we can maybe use this as a quick and dirty stand-in. Okay. Do we have scripts open? Nope. Show dialog. Parts, yada yada yada. All right. Parts. Title, is that enough? Oop. Parts, show dialog, parts, parts. Like that. Boom. Nope. Do I not use title in show dialog? Here we go, title. Apologize, my nose is itching. Show dialog parts, title. Oh, tag, all right. Tag, title, content, kill calculator, all right. Now, the problem is we don't actually want to use the framework for creating these dialogues. Although, to be fair, in the app, the dialog does not show up at the same time in the SudokuPad app. You have to press it and it goes over top. So for now, we could actually use this. We do probably want to center of a board just for streamers and stuff, even though ultimately that's not actually in our best interest. Because ultimately we might want to not cover the board that you're looking at, right? Killer calculator. So the other thing is we need to detect if a selection is on the board. So we need to we just need some sort of real-time display on the screen somewhere. So, and that display should always be there. So it basically happens on settings toggle. So handle tool enter. So p dot show tool. Let's try that. So we have a show tool and hide tool. That's redundant. Hide. So then show, we're adding the button, and hide, we're removing the button. And I think this fixed display doesn't actually change, yeah. So this dot show, this dot hide. Right. So we have this. So now in show, we also want to create our killer calculator thing, right? So let lm equals, and we have our create const create lm framework create lm. So this is going to be our killer calculator. Parent was document.body. So we want this to be pretty high level. Maybe under apps. Maybe under the app. And that's about it. Or maybe under game. Probably under game. So, query. Oh, no. We can just pass a string in here. It'll do that for us. Alright, then we have children. And we'll have some sort of... So this will be just the div that floats the whole thing. Then here we'll have a div. And we'll have some style in here. And I'm just going to throw something together just so we can see it. That's going to be C006. Something like that. And now we broke it. Unexpected identifier. Line 27. We don't have a comment here. Yeah. I think a lot of setters are setting, like, I just don't have a good setting tool yet. But I am working on it. I don't know if you want to check out the other live streams, but I'm working very hard on an editor tool, which hopefully will create a sort of more user-friendly experience for setting. It's not going to be as technical as, you know, fpuzzles and penpa and so on. And I think initially the idea would be that people still use these technical tools first to design the solve path of their puzzle, and then basically import the puzzle into my tool and then make it look pretty. Kind of like, you know, this guy here. Okay, so we have our little red box here. Now we don't actually want a red box. We want this to be either attached to the screen somehow. And one place to put it would be either a single line display right at the top in portrait mode, and then underneath the puzzle in portrait mode it could even be up here or in between these two if I push some space in there. One thing I'm not sure is if this is really long. I think there's a maximum size for this, but I don't know how big it is. And I don't know if that maximum size ever reaches the top. And if it doesn't, then maybe we can put it up here. But putting it up there is actually not trivial. So I don't know what happens if we're inserting more stuff in here. Like this says top 40. 40 relative to what? Then it has a transform on here. Transform, translate. But what if we put it in here and have it as a negative at a negative location? So if I put it here, like that, and I'll do something like display. No. Position, absolute, and then top, or the problem is right now it'll sit at the bottom of that area. No, at the top, okay. So if I do margin top minus 120 pixels, then it should just pop above it. So if I make this 2 rem high, and if I say calc minus 2 rem minus, or actually just minus 2.5 rem, and we have a 2.5 rem padding there, spacing there. So, and then if I don't limit the width, and I do something like that, and then I'll have children. So this would be tag. Oh, we know this is a diff, and this is gonna have children. And right now it has 2 lines of display, sum 100 for... Now here we don't actually want 2 lines, we want 1 line, right? So we might not even need children anymore. We might just be able to stick that into the content. So let's just write something here. Sum 23. 4 out of 6 combinations. So let's actually replicate this first before the full calculator display. I think this might already be kind of the more important aspect. And I think I'm going to stop putting the styles in here, and I'm going to start adding using the tool calculator CSS. So parent that class, what do we call this? And actually we don't need the button, and that button can live in here as well. So for now, actually, I'm going to remove the app button call here, because if we need a button, we're just going to put that into that same display. So it's just going to be that display, I think. Nope. Nope. All right, and we'll call this killer calc dash on screen. There we go. Killer calc on screen. So then this stuff goes in there. Margin top, and then children, we're just gonna put class content or summary, and that just gets this stuff in here for now. Appreciate the kind words though, Devin, really do. All right, got summary. Height 2, yada yada, background just so we know where it is. All right. I like the rounded corners. I'm not sure about the coloring. I wonder if I should go with like a kind of similar to these guys, like that thin outline. One problem I have with it is the different mode styles. I don't know if I can. Let me see. If I switch to dark mode, right? Then these colors at the top, are they going to be using a variable? Don't know if they do. Top bar. No, they're not. And then the styling would actually have to do, because I'm also thinking of SudokuPad where I have theming. What about var? No? No color variables? Yeah. I'll have to switch to those eventually. You know what? Tell you what, I'm gonna make it neutral. I'm gonna make it some sort of neutral gray-ish color for now. Border radius, and then we'll deal with that. 0.25. We'll deal with that later. I'm getting sidetracked anyways, enough as it is. Right. So, probably want to do that in here though. Right, and then this one is going to get, so killer calc on screen. is here. This is too high. And then this one should also be line height. Like that. All right. And then padding. Wait. And padding 0.25 rem. Something like that. And then here we go, border 0.2 rem solid gray. Something like that. All right. Hash 6. And then the background color, we're gonna do a hash 6666. Kind of like that. Man, that's ugly. That is ugly even by my standards. Can I just do that? It's still pretty ugly. It's still pretty ugly. How am I making this so ugly? Even without trying. Alright. I'll do this. Okay. Now we're slowly getting somewhere. So, one of the issues is we're gonna have to figure out when things are getting clicked. And if we're not part of the tooling... so I'm gonna rename this to attach elem, because that is what I usually use here to basically indicate that we're interacting with the DOM here. Not necessarily just showing and hiding. All right. Now that also means we want to do event handling here. And I don't think, do we need to, maybe there's an event for selection, right? So instead of, listening to mouse events and keyboard events, dot emit, dot trigger, unpause, start, stop, start, loaded, start, progress saved, progress loaded, act, tool, restarted, act, drag, move, drag, end, control. All right, I think we're gonna have to listen to act. All right, so I'm gonna do handle act. And there's a precedent for that. I've done this with other events. Sorry, with other tools before. I think the select tool itself basically does that. All right. So framework.app. Who is emitting this event? Trigger act. Are we on the puzzle? This is the puzzle. This is still the puzzle. Are we triggering 2 act events? Wait a second. Why does it immediately unexpand? All right. This is the puzzle. And this is the app. So both of them emit at different places. So we have to be a little bit careful there. Dot on act. This dot handle act. And then we want to do off here. Yeah, on that note, it's not technically a cookie, right? So there's a thing called local storage, which is separate from cookies, where you can just store some data per website. And that's where all your puzzles are. Now, that storage is relatively limited. So be careful if you're using it a lot. Eventually, I don't know what will happen, to be honest. Like, I think 5 megabytes is the limit, but on desktop it might be much bigger. So that's probably a couple of thousand puzzles, but eventually there'll be a problem. I've added some code in there that should warn you when that happens, but in the future I definitely want to have much better local puzzle handling and all that. Hey Andy, what do you mean? Where this goes? I think I'm gonna put it underneath, between the puzzle and the buttons, because there's a little bit of space there, and I can make this fairly compact if it's just one line of text. I can make it quite small, so on mobile, I might fit it here, like obviously, you know, with a little bit of shrinkage applied. So for example, it doesn't really need to be 2 REM, right? Could be 1.5, and then I'll just do a slightly different styling for the portrait view, so that it still fits in there. Something like that, maybe. Wait, does it not? Doesn't seem to refresh this very much. Hold on a second. Yeah, so if I do... yeah, it's not updating. Let's just change it here. So if this is a 1.5, right? And if this is instead of being 1.5, if this was just, let's say, 1.2, 1.2. You know, something like that. I think it might still fit, and it might not look too ugly, and we're not wasting space and, you know, making the puzzle smaller than it should be and all that stuff. But I definitely gonna do these things one at a time. I have a feeling the CSS is not updating when it should. Although now I think it updated. Margin top is still 2.5. The cache should be disabled, so it should definitely refresh. See you later. See you later, calculator. Sorry. So sorry. Let's have a quick look. Is it getting that styling from somewhere else? It still said... oh. Wait, why is it still... it still has an inline... oh, I didn't remove the inline style. Okay, that's why. Ah, alright. So, yeah, obviously that won't work now. Yeah, something like that. So, 2.5. Is the border on the outside? Border in on outside. Border. So if this is a 1.7, so 1.5 plus the 2 times the border. If we don't put a border at all, basically what they did is they had a sort of a negative white space on the inside of a larger object. Yeah, I don't want to fiddle with that right now, to be honest. No, we'll get it working. Yeah, it keeps a full replay as well. So if I don't know if you've ever looked at it, there's a experimental, that's what the EXP stands for, replay tool. And with that, you can actually go to the beginning of your solve and play through it. So for example, if I say if I go 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, I make a U selection here. Then I go here and put in all the things, and then I do this, and I make it, you know, gray, black, green, and then I change my mind and I undo. Then I can go to the replay tool, jump to the beginning, and play it back. So, and it stores that for all your puzzles. So I always hoped in the future to make these, let people share those replays so you could watch how somebody else solves it, or even use it instead of video, just do a voice recording of commentary saying, hey, and this is what I was thinking, etc., That was always sort of the goal. But I haven't had time yet to work on the replay tool. All right, so next step is to actually interact with the puzzle. In fact, you see, so if I go here, yeah, that's a problem. We're not currently getting actions for selections. So we might have to listen to the puzzle actions instead. So that's a bit odd. Yeah, so the puzzle actions seem to be lower level. Let's listen to both and see what happens. So if I do this, I get a select and deselect. Select. Oh yeah, because I'm deselecting. Deselecting, selecting. Pressing a 1. So this one gets this stuff, and this one gets this stuff. So only the second part. I don't know why I chose to do this, but it looks like we're just going to have to listen to the puzzle action because we need selections, and selections aren't transmitted from the underlying thing. To be honest, on handle action, we're not actually doing anything in specific. We're just checking what the current selection is, right? That's all we're caring about. So, handle action is just going to call some sort of something, right? So we're going to just have some sort of update calculate, or just update this function. Right? It's gonna be update, and we're gonna be hopefully a bit conservative about when and how we update. So this is just gonna call this.update, and later on we might get rid of a bunch of these. We might not need them. Like handle tool enter, we're not gonna need. These we're not gonna log for now. Well, might as well. So we're getting an update. And now we can get the selection. Current selection. I think it's on puzzle, right? So let app equals framework. Framework, yes. Puzzle comes from app. And current selection comes from puzzle. And one thing I haven't even thought about is doing the actual calculation. I kind of assumed those will be pretty straightforward in the end. Current selection. Current selection. Framework.app.current.puzzle.select. It's selected cells, isn't it? All right. Selected cells. And we're gonna look at the cages. Now, one problem we have is that we don't necessarily have high-level cage information here. But we do have cage information. And we probably want to get that from current puzzle or from source puzzle. Current puzzle, cages, killer. All right. Selected cells, current puzzle. And then we're gonna say let killer cages equals current puzzle dot cages dot filter cage style equals killer. I think that should do the trick. And then we'll just... Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Well, for you, it should be almost noon. One second. I have a bug report, but it involves a solved... Wait, you can put in any correct digit and hit the correct... Will do the looks good to me all the... And stop that. It doesn't need all the correct digits, just no incorrect digits. 1 second. Let me just have a look at this. And check. Looks good to me. I think that's fixed on test though. And check. Yeah. Does it work on test as expected? I think there's an issue with the checker on app at the moment when solutions are given. All right, so where were we? So we're selecting a cell. So we have killer cages. One issue is that the cages are... So the cages, we probably want to only update them once. Yeah, because we want to cache this data. But for now, we're not going to worry about that because. Yeah, personally, I like it as well. I kind of went back and forth on it. The question is, in that scale, how to make it abstract and not too abstract. So one of the things I think people recognize in an abacus is when it has primary colors. So monochromatic, it might not make sense. I don't like the stand, so maybe something like this, but it couldn't have 5 lines, so it'd have to be like super small. So maybe something like this. But then eventually it kind of gets abstract and becomes very hard to make it clear what it is. And then, you know, you and I, we are old farts. A lot of other people that don't know what an abacus is. I had one as a kid to play with. Like, I wasn't taught how to use one at school, while Asian cultures are being taught to use them. And the square abstractions I find completely unrecognizable. So it's maybe something I'll experiment with once it's all done. But the calculator is kind of, it's almost too easy, right? It's like, yeah, nobody's gonna worry about that. Hey guys, did you say something? All right. I need to go to the bathroom soon. I'm gonna take a... Actually, it's noon. I'm gonna probably end the stream soon and just gonna do a part B after lunch, so I can eat something. You guys can have a break, and maybe my brain will be a bit unfoggified. Before then, I'd like to at least update this split display, right? So we have a selection, right? We have cages. So for each cage now we wanna transform them, right? So actually, I'm gonna do that right here. So we're gonna filter them, then we're gonna map them. Well, I was gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna clone the functionality of the StudiGoya app. So the StudiGoya app only shows for one cage. If you select multiple cells, it will basically say no valid cage, right? In fact, what it says is no cage selected. So I'm not going to show for multiple cages at the same time. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So what do we want to return? We want to parse the cells. So framework.app.puzzle.parse cells. Actually, what we're gonna do is puzzle.parse cells, h.cells, and see what happens. I'm starting to think maybe for testing I want to choose a puzzle with slightly fewer cages, just so it's less spammy in the console, maybe. So 2 cells, 3 cells, And this is 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. All right, that looks fine. 7, 6. All right. The other information we need is... just I'll put the whole cage data. Style, killer, cage value. All right. Sum and unique as well. Okay. So cells. Sum. And unique. I'm gonna keep a reference to the original cage. No, won't need it. Now cage value we want to parse, and we've parsed that plenty of places. Parse cage, parse val, parse cage. Val. RC val. Here we go. Parse RC val. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, RC val. RC val. What do we end up with? Cage value not defined. Cage value. Can you keep it down to a mild roar, please? All right, so. Okay. Now, obviously, we need to deal with cages that have letters in them and that aren't real killer cages and all that stuff. So, yeah. The R and C, I don't think we care about at all. Hey, Devin. Yeah, Devin is asking about the manual calculation. Yeah. So in the SudokuPad app, it basically has two functionalities, right? It has the sort of full-on calculator where you type in your own stuff, or the information for a cage. And it basically has, when you press the space, it gives you all the combinations possible. So here it just says how many combinations, right? So I'm kind of working on duplicating that functionality. Right. So now we have these killer cages, right? And I don't think we actually need them all. We can probably filter them earlier. So what if instead of doing this, right, we can do return, turn, style equals killer. And then we might want to do the mapping first. Or we do this parsing and then we map. And then we filter a second time. All right, so this just saves us time on filtering the regions and stuff. And then afterwards, we're going to do a second filter. Right? Return true. All right, and then we'll do... which one will be the larger number? The selected cells. Selected cells is probably going to be the smaller number, right? What's the fastest way to do an array intersect in JavaScript? JavaScript array intersection. Probably just like two loops. Yeah, just that. All right. So we can do a log match. We'll do cage.cells.filter cell, and then we can do selected cells.includes cell. Excuse me, my itchy nose. Okay. Now if I do this, we get a match there. And if I do this, we get 2 matches. And if I do this, we get 2 matches there and a match there. So we could even do a majority match, but I think for now I'm just gonna do, you know. So we can go back to this. Cells. And then we can do filter, not filter, to find not equal undefined. Actually, we can just do this, and that's it. And I think I'm going to split this up just for clarity. Matched cages equals filler cages dot filter. And we have matched cages. Cage is not defined. Yep, that one. Okay. So if I click this, I have 1 match cage. If I click this, I have 2 match cages. All right. So if matched cages dot length is not equal to 1, do this. And here we probably want to keep a reference to this one. Right now, the summary object is probably where we're going to keep everything for now. So this dot summary element equals element dot query selector dot summary, and this is going to be our calculator element. What's this dot? And then here we're gonna do puzzle off detach on dot remove was undefined. All right. If I click on this, we cannot just get rid of this as well. If I do this, matched cages is nothing. And then we'll do this dot summary element dot text content equals no cage selected. So no cage selected, and else we're just gonna put some text for now. Cage selected. What does the app say again? No cage selected. Okay. So no cage selected, cage selected, cage selected. In this case, the app, I think, says I can't test it because, yeah, because this particular puzzle has no empty spaces. Let me try this one. Nope. Let me try. Just come on, give me one with, yeah. So if I select space outside, also no cage selected. Now in this case, I'm happy with just using that cage. I think there's no harm in it, unless you guys have a reason why there would be a harm. So then the question becomes, so let cage equals match cage is 0. So then the question becomes, how do we calculate this data, right? So we have a sum here and uniqueness true. So for now, I'm just going to ignore those, and I'm just going to go with the sum value. And I'm going to ignore the digits in those cells for now. But that obviously needs to be added then. All right, so we have a value. What's it showing? Sum and 3 out of 3 combinations. All right. So we'll say sum cage.value. And then for now, we're just gonna do combinations. Now that one, I don't actually know. Is that just a table people have in these things, like a lookup table, or is this something we can actually well, we obviously can calculate it. So shall we just calculate that? Ooh. Cage before initialization. Don't know why I did that. Sum 22, yada, yada, yada. All right, so combinations. P.get combinations. And it basically takes 2 arguments. Size and sum. Right? So can I do this? Well, for now, killer cage is always unique. So for the killer cage calculator, I guess we can assume uniqueness. So we're just gonna do get combinations, and the size is cage.cells.length, or we're just gonna pass in the cage really. Cage. Because then we can even access the values and so on. So let size equals cage.cells.length, and let sum equals cage. So we have a sum here, sum there. No cage selected, sum 19, sum 22, get combinations undefined. All right. So I guess the easiest thing is for each digit, try, well, all the possible combinations of 3 digits that add up to a 19. So that's a recursive call, right? So if we have 1 digit left, yeah, so we have a function sort of that I can call recursively. So I'll place a 9 in it, and then I recall the function recursively for the remaining sum. So 2 digits summing to 10. Then I place a 9 in it. Now give me 1 digit summing to 1, right? So if the digit count is 1, return that digit. And of course, it would be nice to pass in the digits already used. Right, so what do we call this? Calc comps, and we take 3 arguments. We get size, sum, and used digits. Or shall we do available digits? Maybe available digits, because then it's easy to say, to to make it work for multi-digit stuff and stuff. I just got digits, right? Now we're just gonna test run this with something simple like size 1, sum 4, and digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. For example, right? Or we can just do this. Calc comps is undefined. Well, calc comps 1, 4. All right. So if size equals 1 and digits dot contains sum return sum. Not contains, includes. If size equals 1 and digits if size is 1, that's our return. So we gotta do that. So if digits include sum, return sum, else return find. Boom. So sum 1, 4 with all digits available gets us a 4. Now if we do 2 with all digits available, what happens? Let's rid of that for a sec. So 2 and 4, it doesn't know what to do, right? So basically for each digit, we'll try for each digit that's smaller than sum. So digits dot filter for var I equals 0, then was digits dot length I smaller than len I plus plus. So it just goes through all the digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do we want to pass in use digits separately, or do we want to manipulate that array? If we manipulate the array, we have to clone the array. Or later on, we have to push the number that we've tried back in. Okay, so well, let n equals digits I digits dot. Yeah, I see. I'm already running into a problem here because we're going to splice and then I have to put it back in afterwards. If I do splice, it manipulates it in place, right? Array by removing and replacing existing elements. Well, we can do this. Okay, so splice I 0 I 1. Wait a second. That's empty in splice. If I remove, it returns one element, right? So I can just literally start delete count, return value, an array containing the deleted elements. If only one element is removed, the array of one element is returned. Okay, so we can literally do this. Splice I 0 and assign this to n. Let console.log n digits And then afterwards, we'll put it back when we try the other ones. Do we need to put it back? I'm just trying to think, when we're recursing, do we need to put the digits we've pulled out back in again? Yes, because we haven't used the digit. So then, if I do this, I'm just trying to think what's the easiest way of getting the digit back in there. So splice 0, n. So that should restore the array to exactly how it was before. If I'm getting this right. So we're taking the 1 out, 1 through 9. Then we're putting the 1 back in. Then we're taking the 2 out, etc. And we're taking the 9 out, and then we're putting the 9 back in. All right, perfect. And then we can recursively call let res equals and here we go, digits n. Oh, and here we'll do if n is smaller than sum. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do digits I here. Then I'm gonna do this separately. Then here I'm gonna do if n is smaller than sum. And in theory, we can just break out because if the digits are in order. So if we keep the digits in order, we can say if n is if n is equal to sum. If n is equal to sum, and size is greater than 1, then we can't resolve it. So if n is greater or equal to sum, we have no more solutions. We're done, right? Because there's only bigger digits coming. So we got to return undefined. All right. Then we're splitting. Then we're calculating for for size minus 1, sum minus n, and the remaining digits. Then we can output res here. And then we can say if res is not equal to undefined, return res. We have our solution and we don't need to skip. Now the solution here isn't actually correct and complete. I don't need to set it to undefined. I'm just restoring it afterwards anyways. Same thing, right? None of this should cause array allocations, so splice should be very performant here. It might use, I don't know how JavaScript implements splice. It might actually move the elements, but I don't think it makes a big difference. And it keeps the elements simple. Like I don't have to check if the element is undefined. Otherwise, I'd have to check for it being undefined up here every time. All right, let's see what happens. So, and I should probably do this and this. Right. So we're checking the 1. Now we have a sum of 8. And what was our original goal? A sum of 4 with a size of 2. So that's got to be a 1, 3, right? So we'll try the 1. Then we hit the 3. We get a result. We'll try the 1. Then we'll do a 1 size 3. We'll skip the 2. Why we're not looking at the 2? So this call says give us a 3 for size 1. Oh, because once we're in size 1, it just checks if it's in there. Okay, so it doesn't even loop through them. Okay, that's fine. So we get a result of 3. And then we need to kind of unwind it, right? So as we're so here we got a result of 3. And what are we looking for? So we know that a 3 resolves the rest of it. So our result is actually n in 3. So we're returning n and the result. And the result eventually will become an array, right? So then here the result is an array of 1 element. Yeah. And then 1, 3 is our result. So if I extend this to 3 and 6, what do we get? 1, 2, 3. And 7 should give us a 1, 2, 4. And 24 should give us a 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. And 25 should fail. Yes. Okay. Now the problem is... the correct length. Well, it wouldn't really be a problem because I can just skip the undefines. It's just a different way of doing the same thing. It might actually be more performant. I don't know if checking for undefined, like the splice operation, if it does a memory copy of the error, but none of those are really relevant. I think this is easier to think about because at every stage, the data represents what's actually going on. All right, so now this only gives us one solution, but we want all of the solutions, right? So at this point, we want to return a list of possible solutions. Right? So if res is not equals to, so here we're gonna go let sols equals empty array. And then here we're going to do sols.push this. And we don't return, we continue. We just put the digit right back in and we'll see if there's any other solutions, right? Now the one issue here is that we need to... res is also a set of solutions, potentially. So yada yada yada. So this is actually going to be an array of an array of an array. One solution of an array with one digit in it. Right? And then here we're going to do res.forEach sols.push n plus sol. Right? And we probably want to check with a smaller number first. So 2 digits, 5. Sum of 5. And then at the end here, return sols. And we don't return earlier. If n is... no. Then here we're just going to break. Instead of returning, we're breaking. And we're never really returning undefined. We're just returning an empty array. And the empty array will cause this to not do anything. Yeah, so we don't even need to check for undefined. So let result, yada yada, okay. 29. Push. There we go. So, what are our final results? 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 1. So this obviously returns whatchamacallem, both versions. So I don't know what's better, is to try to find a way of excluding those or to include those and filter them out afterwards. Because then afterwards what we can do is we could just... I think commonly you would want them sorted, right? 3 digits, 10. Yeah, I think they generally sort them. So at the end, and do we want to sort them every time? Like, is it faster to sort them here, or is it good enough to sort them at the very end? let sols equals that. All right. So that's the solutions. And then what we really want to do is we want to sort them. Sort sols. Const sort sols A, B. How do we sort them? They should always be the same length by definition, right? So for let I equals 0, len equals a dot length. And we only care about additional digits if they're the same, right? So I0 a yada yada, I smaller than len, I plus plus, if a I is smaller than bi, return -1. Return -1. If I a blah 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 is greater than, return 1. Otherwise, go through the loop until you find one where they are, or return 0 at the end. I think that should sort them. So 1 4 2 3 3 2 4 1. Oh wait, no. I'm sorting one solution with the other versus the other. No, what I want to sort is the digits within the all right. I'm sorting the wrong thing here. I think we might use this. Yeah, but we actually want to sort the solutions themselves first. So what we really want to do is we want to do a map, and then we want to sort the solution. I think 1 4 2 3 2 3 1 4. No. I think we can do an A minus A, B, B minus A. Nope. A minus B. 1 4. Why does it not? Oh yeah. So now that sorts. Okay. So no, sorry. I'm an idiot. That was working fine. So that's sorting the digits within each solution. And now we want to sort the solutions. And now the 1 4 should be at the beginning. Like that. And I want to sort them like this, not in here. And that's it. And we actually want to uniquify them first, right? So if we do this, oh wow, okay, that doesn't uniquify them. Wow. Const uniquify sols. Okay. So that's sorted. So right now that's just what we have. And now we want to uniquify them. And now we will filter. So that should give us an index and an array. And then we'll have to check if array.index of sol and I think there's a reverse index, right? And a reverse index. Reverse last index of. I think this is pretty old, right? Internet Explorer 9, yeah. So if we say last index of sol is not equal to IDX. And that should work. One sec. Sols for each sol we'll do this. And we probably want to do this as well. I think I can compare first index and last index, right? So we've got sol, we've got an array of solutions, we have an index, and we have a first and a last index. It's looking at the specific element, not at not that representation. If you stop generation when the digit is less than the previous in the list, then you don't even have to sort them. They are only. If you stop generating combinations when the digit is less than the previous in the list. When the digit is less than the previous in the list. How do you mean? So, like, once I have 1, 4, then I get to 2, 3, and then previous in the list. Oh, my brain, wait a second, I think I know what you're saying. The previous. The problem is I don't have access to the previous. The previous in the list. The thing is, I'm putting the digits back in. Should I not be doing that? The previous in the list. Which list? We have three-dimensional lists. Lists of lists of lists. Are you talking about a specific solution? The problem is right now, like, it's a recursive algorithm, so I don't really technically have access to what's above us, right? All right, let me think about this. We're finding... Let's see. Let's say sols here. So... sols. So sols only hits once. If size equals 1. Sols dot push sum if digits equals 1. Else, I think that's valid, right? So I need to, yeah, the problem is when I'm looking at calculating 3. So 1 second. So when I'm looking at n, we shouldn't try the, well, 1 second. So I take a number out. And let's do the simpler case, right? No, this is as simple as it gets. No, it gets simpler, right? So if we have a size of 2 and the sum is 4, there's only 2 options. Sols is not defined. Where is that coming from? 29. Return sols. What do you mean sols is not defined? What? How is sols not defined? $29. Why do I have a feeling this 29 here is not correct? Yeah, that's not correct at all. Sols. How is it not defined when it's being defined right there? Oh. Wait. Right. So 2, 4. So we've got a 1, 3. We found a solution, 3, on the second digit. How are we back at 1, 2 now? Oh, wait. Wait. The sum is 2, and we need to find 1. No solutions. Wait, size 2, sum 4. Size 1, sum 3 with the first one. Size 2, no solutions. 1, 1. Okay, so now n is 3, and you're basically saying there's a way of avoiding looking at n3. Or at least, if we're looking at n equals 3, we shouldn't be looking at digits smaller than 3. So in other words, we shouldn't be putting the digits back in afterwards. We should restore it at the very end when we're leaving the recursion. Basically. So instead of splicing here and then unsplicing here, what we really should be doing is we should be slicing here. And we should only pass in the array after the current. So slice I. Right? Does that sound right? So we're calling it 2, size 2, sum 4 with the full array. We're trying n is 1. And I'm going to look at digit slice here instead, and sum minus n. Oh, and I forgot a comma. So we're looking at n is equal to 1, sum 3, with the digits I plus 1. So with the digits 2 upwards. So for 1, we're not going to look at 1 again. Right. Fair enough. So we never need to put the digits back in. No, we do need to put the digits back in, because as we're recursing out, we might... Ah, my brain. No, we never need to put the digits back in. Once a digit is consumed, it's consumed. Ah, no, because the digit might not be consumed, right? Because it might not... Ah, my brain is not following here. Do we never need to look at the same digits a second time? We don't, right? Because we don't care about the order. We don't care about positioning. And we're going in increasing order. So we're looking at each digit. Like where a smaller digit didn't fit, a larger digit will never fit, no matter how many, like, and the number of cells we have always gets smaller. What I don't understand is, if I'm not using the digit here on the first digit, like if I have no solutions with a 3, I'll never have solutions with a 3. So we'll try to fit a 1, then we do all the solutions that have a 1 in it. Yeah, then we've already tried all. Okay, so we can get the digit out, but we never need to put it back in. So I never need to bring the digit back in, and I can just do this here and here, I think. So if I do this, then when we've tried the 1-3 combination, do we ever need the 3 again? Like if we have multiple cells, if we have like 4 cells, there might be different versions that use a 3. Oh man, this is breaking my brain, but I think you're right. So this gives us 1, 4, 2, 3. And if we, let's say, want to have all combinations that use 10 to sum up 2 cells to sum up to 10. Okay, that's not working. So what happens here? So we're trying the 1 with a remaining sum of 9. And we're doing calcomp 9 on this. Solution is 1. Result is 9. So now the solutions are... we probably want to output the sols here and not the res. Sols is 1, 9. So 9 is gone. We can't use 9 again ever with any other combination. Does that make sense? Ah, no, we can use 9 again, right? Because we're... I think there's a problem with them all working off the same array. So we're trying 2. So it solves 1, 9 digits. The remaining digits are here. Yeah, we don't even need to output that. So now we're trying 1, 7. Why are we trying 1, 7 now? Oh, because we're incrementing here. So this should just always be digit 0. And now we get 1, 9, 2, 8, 2, 8, 2, 8, 2, 8. All right, so that's not working either. What if I do this? If I just do this, we're getting 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6. Because as I was thinking, like, if we pop the first element of the array until the array, like, we'll do a while loop instead of a for loop. But this basically works, right? And I think this will work, let's say, I don't know, 14 in 3 digits. How many ways are there to do 14 in 3 digits? 149, 158, 167, 239, 248, 257, 347, and 346. 356, that's 11, 3 is 14. Yeah, okay. So I think this does the trick. Right. And I think I can probably simplify this a lot. I mean, We probably don't need to duplicate the arrays here. So while digits length is greater than 0, wait, what if we ignore the I altogether? We'll just use the I as a counter, so we don't have to hit .length every frame, every time we go through the loop. And that's just pop, right? And then other than that, pass digits in here is the same as slice I plus 1. And it doesn't work. Digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, unshift. Unshift, shift. What? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shift. I, N, digits. 0, 1, 0, 2. Why is I 0 twice? Oh, because we recurse down? Every digit can only be used once in these combinations, right? 149, 158, 167. Ah, no, it can be used once in each position. All right, so my initial instinct was correct. I need those digits on the flip side. So we'll either do this or we push them back in. This creates a copy of the array. I think this is fine for now. It's easier to think about and to reason about. And the unification now we can actually skip. Is that the point we got to? So we don't need to sort anything here. All right. Okay. So we get these. And our n of n is basically takes into consideration filled in digits. That comes equals. So if I put a 9 here, for example, in an 8 cage, sum 8. It still says 3 out of 3 combinations. That's weird. What if I center mark it with a 9? What if I... Why doesn't it let me put a 1 there? That's weird. The calculator doesn't give me n out of n combination. Like, it doesn't take into consideration digits that are in there. Okay, that's weird. I thought that's what it was supposed to do. All right. So we have calculations. And we probably do want to move these down here. And now we can do... so we can do... In the moment, I don't think I know how to calculate this. But basically what I thought it would do is, let's say, if you put a 2 in there in the cage, now it would say, okay, 3 out of 9 or 3 out of 8 total combinations are possible, right? It keeps saying 8 out of 8. Oh, because I'm not actually passing in the right information, right? Get combinations. So that's cage.sum. and cage.cells.length. Right? 1 out of 1, 5 out of 5, 3 out of 3, 2 out of 2, 2 out of 2, 2 out of 2, 3 out of 3. 3 ways to do 7. Yeah, okay, 21, 3 out of 3, 1 out of 1. All right. I don't like how these are so close to each other. So if I do this, and something like that, I don't know. Combinations. I don't know how much horizontal space I want to take up there. All right, and then basically clicking on this, you definitely don't want to deselect. Oh, that's a problem. So we have to stop the deselection. Yeah, I mean, the way I imagined it is, right, so if there's a 1 in here, this should change. And what I don't know yet is if I also want to take into consideration center marks, because I think that would be great. Let's have a quick look how hard it would be to integrate. The thing is, we still want to we still want to return all the possible combinations, so it might be a second function. Get killer combination. So what if I do this? I turn this function into a primary function, and digits default to these by default. And we'll just do this, right? And then we'll just do here this.get killer combinations. Actually, we'll just do... I think we're gonna do this because we're gonna recurse internally, and I don't wanna go through the object outside to recurse. So if I do this, and then return calc comps size sum digits. All right. Calc combs, no, combs, combinations, combs. So we have a selected cage. So we can calculate the combinations, but then we, as a secondary element, we want to actually we also want to calculate which of those combinations make sense, right? So let cage digits equals cage.cells filter. Actually, we want to convert these to givens, right? So givens. Like, why does this search not work anymore? Why can I not search for givens with single quotes around them when there's clearly strings with single quotes? There's something wrong with my search. Like, sometimes it just doesn't work. And then I press a button or whatever. Maybe it was the S. All right, maybe it's something wrong with my brain then. So, if we do this, filter, or dot map given or prop get normal. dot filter digit not equals undefined. All right. That should give us I don't know why it does all this when there's nothing selected right now. I have to figure that out. All right, so we have cage digits 1, and we have 2 combinations here. So we basically want to filter all the combinations by those that contain all the cage digits. So for example, 23, all of the ones that have 7 and 8 in them. Or let's say 12 that have 2s and 3s in them. Click here, right? So we have all these combinations, and there's only one that has 2 and 3 in it. But is there any more with... I'm looking for one that's sharing more than 2 digits. I'm just realizing that is not possible for 3 cages. So we need a different test puzzle for this with 4-cell cages, otherwise it won't work. 3 cages, 3 cells. No, we need honkin' chonkin' big cages. Honkin' chonkin'. These are all tiny cages. Oh, 4-cell cages. 2-cell, 3-cell, and 4-cell. All right, we'll use this one. And again, thanks to James Sinclair for his artisanal Sudoku puzzles, which I really like to show off because they're pretty. And this is not the puzzle that I thought I had. I thought I was looking at this one. Oh, that's underneath. All right, so now here we have a 5-cell cage, and it has 5 combination. No, it only has 1 combination. Ah, no, this is not useful. This one, 25. All right, we've got a couple of combinations. 1, 7, 8, 9, 2, 6. Okay, so a whole bunch of them have 8 and 9 in them. So if I put an 8 here and a 9 here, now I click on this cage. So we've got these 2, and we want to filter these by these. So if we do comms dot filter, so we have a combination here, and we'll have to find all. We do another thingy to thingy. All right, cage digits dot filter. And cage digits we wanna dot map digit parse int digit. In the future, well, I hope we're not gonna have floating digits. If we want to accept arbitrary symbols, it'll be a bit more difficult. Also, there's no sums to work with. All right, well, we have a digit, and we want to... No, we need to map them because they're different types at the moment, and it's gonna... unless we map them both to strings. For now, I'm just gonna do this. So, for each digit, we want to filter the cage digits by digits that aren't in the combination. So comp dot includes digit. So that gets us all the digits included. This gets us all the digits that aren't included. And then if we get the length of that, length equals 0. So now that should give us all the combinations that which is these three, all the valid combinations, right? So what we want to return is combinations valid. Right? And if we change the word combs to this, then we don't have to type that and that. And we can do this and this and this and this. And we can do a little function. Filter by digits. 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 Digit. Digits. Digits. Digit includes digits. Dot filter. Cage digits. Digit cage digits dot filter. Filter digits. Filter digits. So we want to filter by filter digit. Digits includes digit. So we should be able to do this, right? Nope. Or maybe yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Combinations. And instead of combinations, we probably should do total and then valid. Comps dot total, comps dot valid. So 3 out of 6 combinations, and then here 0 out of 8 combinations. So it should actually be the opposite. So instead of giving us the valid combinations, it should give us the possible combinations. Filter cells.find. Because here we're doing a negative filter, right? Not includes, right? So what we really want is the opposite of this. So we want to first includes. Sorry, my brain is a bit slow. Digits here is the solution. So we want to find all the solutions that are possible. Now, if filter digits filter digits dot filter dot length is 0. Dot length equals 0, or dot length filter digits dot filter No, we want a solution that quote unquote consumes all the filter digits. Right? Digits dot includes digit dot length equals 0. So that should work. I think. First, for cage digits, first map, then filter. We are first mapping, then filtering, and then we're filtering again. Because I don't wanna parse int this, because then we can't check for undefined. So the parse int has to happen after. Unless we search for NAN, I guess. No, we're in the wrong example. 0 out of 6 combinations. 0 out of 6. That's not. Alright. Combinations dot for each. So console.log comp dot filter digits. So cage digits dot filter digit includes digit comp includes digit. So this combination includes digit. True. So we have digits left over. Now if it doesn't include the digits, we end up with no digits left over. So these are valid solutions, these are valid solutions. The point is, if I have no digits, I want this to be a valid solution. Okay. So why the hell didn't that work? So we do want this. Cage digits are our filter digits. We're filtering by the negative of this, and we want that to be 0. So if I click here, I should get one solution. If I click here, I should get 3 out of 6. Ah, so it works. Oh, what the hell? Why are you bothering me? Go away. So 3 out of 6 combinations. And this has 8 out of 8, 2 out of 2, 1 out of 1. This has 1 out of 1. Let's see. Okay, 7 out of 7. So let's say if I put a 2 in here, it's 1 out of 7. So there's one combination with a 2 in it, 2 with a 3, 2 with a 2, 3 with a 6. So let's have a look at these guys. So we have 3, 6, 9, 4, 8, 6, 8, and 5, 6, 7 out of a total of these. So if I put a 7 here, we now only have one solution left, and that would be a 5 here. And we have one solution with this. If it's a 4, 0 out of 7. All right. Hey, Shelby. @.al. What website are you sending us to? Hello, greetings. It'd be funny to put something at that location. All right, and in fact, this could also work as a validator for killer cages. That's a little bit more verbose than what we currently have. All right, so it gives us already the information we want, and I think that's all these killer cage calculators show you anyways. They let you tick options off, but I don't know what the point is of that. So it should just tell us how many possibilities we have with these digits. So we have 3 with a 7. And in this cage, we have 3 with an 8 and a 9. And if I, let's say, get rid of the 8, we have 4 with an 8, with just an 8. So 2 of those have a 7. So if I put a 7 here, now I have 2 left. And they are with a 1, 6, or with a, with a 4, 6, or a 1, 9. And then like on a 13, for example, how many valid combinations? 3 with 1s. But I think there's no shared 2 digits. All right. 1, 3, 2, 3. So there's, yeah, nope. Again, there's no shared 2 digits. What about a 16 in a 4 cell? We have a whole bunch with 1 and 2. But for example, we have no combination with, well, we cannot have a combination with 3 digits shared. Okay. So if I put a 1 in here, now it's 6. If I put a 3 in here, now it's 2. If I put a 2 in here, now there's 3. Because now we've only 13 left. So there's 3 ways of making 13 without a 1 and a 2, basically. On a 14 cage, we have 2 combinations. That's 9, 5, and 6, 8. All right, that's actually quite far along the way for that. So basically, there's 2 things left now. Oh my god, people complaining that setters don't put the solutions in. I don't see them praising the setters for making the puzzle in the first place. And that the tool shouldn't allow them to not put in a solution. I don't know, do you want less puzzle set? Do you want angrier setters that are giving you entertainment for free? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna do my best with my editor to make it as easy as possible. But to just demand it seems a little... Not the direction I would take. I do dot total. Just trying to clean up the console before I call it a day for the lunch break. So I'm getting hungry, and I've been needing to go to the bathroom for like 3 hours now, I think. And we probably want to do this. I just wanted them to show up on in the console like this. Yeah. We probably want to do the valid ones first. All right, selected cage, kill calculator update, and so every click. So we probably don't want to show this, and probably don't need that. Now, why is it hitting this so many times? I think one of the issues we have is I think the act event handler is there any way to remove pencil entries when a digit is placed? Or any talk of doing that? Just curious. Remove pencil entries when a digit is placed. Oh yeah, I mean there's a feature for it. You can vote on it. I think there's a feature for it. Auto clear markings on digit entry. Vote for your favorite features here. There you go. Solution held. I don't know what those words mean. Solution held, solution not held. What do you mean by that? Okay, right now the problem is these events are triggered during replay actions. So the question is that I have is why are we not triggering on selection? Puzzle select. Is area select, filter selection cells include act. Well, first of all, we probably only want to. No, but it actually helps to run this code on entry, right? I want to update it the moment you put a 2 in there. I want this to update. The thing is, I don't want to run this a million times doing replays. All right, so I'm going to leave this for later. To do, don't run during replay / redo / undo replay. Don't run during replay. To do filter actual changes. So maybe there might be a way of filtering out anything that doesn't affect our cage. In which case we don't need to do any of this stuff. All right, I need a break. This has been some good progress on this feature. Let's have a quick look. What else did we do? So we created calculator JS, CSS, that's fine. We added them to Sudoku HTML, that's fine. We did a little bit of adding a styling for icons in the settings, which I will start using. That's fine too. In the future, maybe for the toggle instead of on-off, we'll add something there. In the framework, we added support for that. So I might actually pull that out into a separate commit at least. So support icons in settings dialog. Because that's something that's potentially worth pulling into main independently of this current branch. So I can just cherry pick that. And here add killer calculator tool. All right. Could you add something that shows solution held? Solution not held. I still don't understand what do you mean by held? Like, who is holding what? Do you mean puzzle includes solution? Is that what you mean? Like a marker that if the puzzle has a solution or not? I mean, I can definitely add more metadata in this dialog, for example. Like, oh, this also includes solution, etc. Or even in the dialog, in the check dialog, if it says true, I mean, I can change the wording here, right? So it's like no solution available for the puzzle, that kind of thing. All right. Well, I'm going to put it as a... I think I actually have something already here. At least about changing the dialog text. I mean, that's another one of those smaller features that could be added in a stream. Oh my god, so many features. Automatic toggle large digit mode, killer cages, custom background, proof replay tool, show some global constraint rules, alternate restart the jump back to the start, preserving undo history timers, single markup mode, allow puzzles to provide 10 custom unique. Oh my god. Just pen to constraint toggle settings or URL. Ah, wait. This is already current stuff is via URL. Yeah, this is done. It's done. I mean, this was always done. I think I just forgot to that I had already done it. Allow setters to add hints to a puzzle. Feature request, multi-touch cell selection, grayscale mode, screenshot feature, add on metadata to link alternate versions and other tools, custom color palette, add head rating to metadata, more timer settings. Show more metadata such as presence of solution. Update check dialogues with information about solution presence. Boom. There you go. More voting. Vote, vote, vote. I'm gonna encourage them to vote on their favorite features. All right. All right. What did I do? What did I do? Did I change anything here? No. Okay. Publishing the branch. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you are enjoying these streams, I hope I'll get to another one. Remember, on Sunday, my evening, US morning. Oh, wait. I think I did the maths previously. Time zones. So on Sunday, I'd like to do a stream. So my time is CET. So probably around maybe 6. So around 9 a.m. Pacific time and 5 o'clock UTC. I'm going to do my 100th Code Hangout stream, and I'm going to explicitly do small user requests. So if you have something like this, but something you actually want for yourself, stop in on Sunday and we can build it together. I think it'll be fun. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Check out the usual places. SvenCodes.com has all the links, such as patreon.com/SvenCodes, which helps me do these things. And of course, subscribing at youtube.com/SvenCodes encourages me to make more of these. And eventually I want to start doing proper videos as well, explaining different features and all this sort of things. Maybe reviews, maybe some behind the scenes stuff. Not just me banging my head against the code wall. And maybe an opportunity to also talk about like the bigger long-term features, such as the publishing channels that I'm working on, and the idea of a sort of interactive Sudoku beginners book type app that I've been thinking about for quite a while. Anyway, if you're interested, let me know. And in the meantime, take care. Have a good day.